What is biological dentistry? And might it be a great blessing to you and your family? What do you know about mercury fillings, fluoride, root canals, available alternatives, and best practices for dental health? All within the big picture of our Catholic faith. We're breaking it down right here today on The Simple Truth. We consecrate everything to the Sacred Heart of Jesus through the Immaculate Heart of Mary and the pure, strong heart of St. Joseph. I'm Jim Havens. It is Wholeness and Healing Monday, fighting to cultivate the health of the whole person, mind, body, and soul. With our co-host, my lovely wife, Becky Havens. She is a Catholic wife and mother with a passion and calling to educate people about the importance of caring for our bodies that the Lord has blessed us with by living a healthy lifestyle. She helps others to think outside of the cultural norms and to be their own advocate while not falling into the many pressures of modern medicine. She's the author of Toxin Free in 12 Months, a 12-month guide to help you transition over to a toxin-free lifestyle. She also wrote a boycott list of over 600 pro-abortion companies. You can get them both for free. Learn more at her website, safehavensmama.com. That's safehavensmama.com. Our topic today, benefits of a biological dentist. You might also hear this called a holistic dentist or a functional dentist. We'll break it down in just a moment. We're not doctors. We're not scientists, just regular people looking to live well and raise our family. This is our little disclaimer. We do believe in objective truth and in asking questions when things do not make sense. We're not giving medical advice, but we do want to offer a forum here today. We know a thing or two, but there's still a ton we don't know. We have some personal experiences, as do you, and we would love to hear from you. I already put out the morning survey today. If you're on that list, I hope you responded. Thank you for your response if you did. If you're not on the list, you didn't get that email today, you can get on it by going to thestationofthecross.com, go to the Simple Truth, scroll down the page, put your email list or your email into the little box there. Then you'll be on the list. You'll get it next Monday. But it's always best to call in because we can't read every survey response on air, though we do our best. We'll put the phone number out in a little bit if there's anything you want to share today, any questions you want to ask. But Becky, get us started here. Share some of your experience with us and what draws us to this topic today.
Sure. So I feel that there are so many people who have dealt with issues when they go to the dentist or have had bad experiences, similar to myself. And so as I've gotten more involved in learning about health and wellness, I've looked more into holistic dentistry, and I've realized that there is a different way to do things, and that just like a holistic doctor or a biological doctor, you can find the same in dentistry. And so having experienced a lot of issues with my teeth and not really finding an answer, just kind of going to the dentist, and each time they're saying, all right, we're just going to do another filling, or maybe you're going to need a root canal down the road, and they're not really explaining what's going on or why it's going on, kind of leaves you just by yourself, where you're kind of having to figure it out all by yourself. And so when I started learning about holistic dentistry, they kind of take the approach about the whole body, getting to the root cause. Why is this happening? How can we keep it from happening? And, providing different solutions. So just in my own experience, I've found a lot more help in the holistic dentistry than in the conventional dentistry. So I think it's an important topic to kind of share and talk about.
Yeah, well, I learned a lot gearing up for this one today already. I didn't know that we had an oral microbiome, and there's a whole thing about having some oral microbiome health to go along with the dental hygiene, overall oral hygiene. Lots to wade through here. You can go deep into this. We're gonna get pretty deep into it today. We're gonna give you some great practical actions that you can take. Probably some things you've never even thought about before or considered that might be a big help to you, considering a biological dentist or a functional dentist, holistic dentist. That might be part of it for you today as well. So we're going to get into that. But we did ask you in the survey, are you afraid of going to the dentist? Over 70% of the respondents said yes, they are afraid of going to the dentist. And I think this probably correlates to having bad experiences at the dentist. Now, I've never had really terrible experiences at the dentist before. I think it was maybe not comfortable going to the dentist before, but I've also never been drilled on in any way in my teeth. I've just, had the usual discomfort of them kind of like flossing your teeth for you at the end and not really knowing the right way to do that. And it kind of being this awkward, sort of a little bit painful, uncomfortable experience. But actually, I haven't been to the dentist myself. And I was thinking about this today because we asked the question in the survey, and I think probably 5, 6, 7 years. Not because I don't want to go have a cleaning. Sure, I'm happy to sign up, go get a cleaning right away, but just not, I guess, reaching a high enough priority where I've actually just gone ahead and have done that. Plus, I know you have to get the x-rays when you get started again with a new dentist and all of that. So maybe that's part of why I put it off. I don't know. But I feel like my teeth are pretty clean. I'm pretty regular on the dental care. So maybe, again, I just maybe don't sense that need to have to get a cleaning. So again, the bell's not ringing, so I'm not giving it much of an attention. But we did ask you, how often do you go to the dentist? How would you describe the experience? Chuck in Massachusetts said, I go at least twice a year. I'm very much at ease going to the dentist. All right. Another said 2 times a year for a cleaning. The experience has been good. I no longer have them brush my teeth due to fluoride in the toothpaste. Another said at least once a year or more. Always worried I might have a hole in spite of all my daily efforts to keep my teeth healthy. Another said never. It's unnecessary. Another said twice a year. My teeth are very weak, even though I take very good care of them. I think there is a hereditary factor, as my father also has very weak teeth. I had to have several implants and recently another tooth taken out, but I did not replace it with an implant once I learned how dangerous they can be. Since it was my back tooth, it does not show that it's missing, luckily. Another said 2 times a year for cleaning. These are okay. I've had several root canals over the years. They're not fun, but easier to tolerate in the last 10 years. Another said twice a year, plus when I chip a tooth, which happens in an old mouth, more than I like. No more almonds. 2 exclamation points for that one. Another said every 6 months. It's okay until 8 months ago he found decay in the top 5 center teeth and decay in the bottom 4 center teeth. I'm right now in the process of getting 3 implants up to and 2 other teeth. Way too expensive. I will listen to hear about holistic dentistry, etc. So those are some of the responses that we got on this today. Becky, any help you can offer off the bat here?
Yeah, that's a lot of good information. I feel like I'm kind of like you where we're different in a way where you actually want to go to the dentist and get your teeth cleaned. I don't really like going to the dentist because I think I've had so many bad experiences. So I avoided it for a long time. And as I started to have children, my teeth started to suffer. So I had no choice but to go to the dentist. It wasn't like, oh, I better go get my cleaning. It was like, okay, my teeth hurt, or I think I have a cavity or a tooth chipped, or, a million different things. And you go to the dentist and they're like, okay, we need to do this, this, this. And you're right. It costs like thousands of dollars. And you think, okay, well, that's not going to happen. So we need to find different ways. And so over the years, I think I've literally tried every natural or holistic way to heal your teeth. And there's a lot of information out there. There are books out there and blogs and studies that you can pull from to try to naturally restart to remineralize your teeth or to heal your gums if you have gum disease. I think I've tried it all. I've done it all just to avoid the dentist because of the extremely high prices, or actually even doing things that I wasn't comfortable with. They push root canals, which there are studies coming out now that root canals can be dangerous. They can even lead to different kinds of cancers because they can harbor bacteria within the mouth, because it is like having a dead organism just sitting inside your mouth, which is going to collect bacteria and then can leach down into other areas of your body. There's studies that are now showing that root canals have a connection to women with breast cancer. And so, learning this information definitely made me nervous to go ahead in that route, because many dentists, no matter what, they're just extremely overly excited to say, okay, this one needs a root canal, this one needs a root canal. And as you start to learn more about holistic dentistry, you start to realize there are different ways to save the nerve and save the tooth without going to the extremes of root canals. And so that's something that I explored and was able to do with a few of my teeth with a holistic dentist. But previously, I was not able to do that with one of my teeth. So it's good to get your teeth cleaned, I think. And I'm not terribly offended by the use of fluoride like once a year. I think it's because they put fluoride in the water and in the toothpaste. So it's a constant exposure to young kids. I think that's where the main issue is. But it can have benefits if you have really bad teeth. But I don't know. I avoid it altogether. So I wish I was one of those people who had really good teeth and I could just ease my way into the dentist and have a great time. But usually I avoid it for many reasons until I found a great dentist that I feel like they finally understand the connection between the whole body and what's going on in the mouth. So,
Yeah, I don't know if anybody really loves going to the dentist. Maybe if they've got a great relationship with their dentist and they're happy to see them and chat it up a little bit. But then again, you've got instruments in your mouth. They've got the mask on, although that's usually just the dental assistant, right? And then the dentist comes in at the end and just takes a look at the end or just says a quick something. So you don't even really get to see your dentist that much when you go there, even if you have a great relationship, maybe not that much time to chat. And then, awkward a little bit with the dental assistant. But, the one thing I don't like about the dentist, this is my number one pet peeve on the dentist, it's you never know what music they're going to be playing. And if they're playing some music that is just, not something you really want to hear, and you're kind of trapped, you're stuck there listening to this music, well, I guess, look, it's a good opportunity to offer up a little mortification, take up the cross in even that small way. So yeah, we can bring our Catholic faith back around into it at all times. We're going to be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to The Simple Truth. Jim and Becky Havens here. We are talking about benefits of a biological or holistic dentist today. If you have any comment or question, you'd like to call in, 1-877-511-5483. That's 1-877-511-5483. And I take it back actually about the music at the dentist, because now that I remember, I think even 5, 6, 7 years ago, the last time I was there, the one that I was at, there was like a TV. And I remember thinking, wow, we've come a long way. This is a great upgrade. You got a TV right in front of you. You don't even have that awkward sort of trying to have a conversation with the dental hygienist. You just got the TV there. You can put on some sports highlights or whatever. So that actually made the experience a whole lot better. So I'm grateful for the dentists that have gone that route. But Becky, you brought up some interesting topics today already. We're talking about what a biological dentist is, the benefits, all of that, but also how to try to reverse basically tooth decay. There's a certain amount that you can actually reverse. You can remineralize. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that, some practical actions people can take to try to do that. Now, if it's too far gone, then it's too far gone. But there is a certain amount that you really can reverse, which is very interesting to know and how to do that. So we're going to get into that. You also mentioned fluoride. I've got some great data on that we can get to in a bit. But first, let's talk about mercury fillings. We did bring that up in the email survey. We asked, do you have any mercury fillings? If so, how many? Here are some of the answers. Yes, I have 2. Another said, yes, I do, but I'm not even sure how many. And we actually had that answer multiple times. People saying, yes, they have mercury fillings, but they don't even know how many are in their mouth. Another said, yes, at least half a dozen fillings that are silver in color. I have white fillings too, but I don't know what they are made of. Another said, I did in the past, but they've all been replaced, but just by a conventional dentist as needed, so not sure if it was done properly. Another said, I think I've had them all removed. And then we had just a few people say, no, they don't have any. So a lot of people, seems very common that people have mercury fillings, and many of them, some of them trying to get them replaced. Becky, I know you've been down this road. What can you share with us?
Yeah, so that was the common practice for years and years. So I would be surprised if somebody's had fillings and they're not mercury, unless it's more recent. And more recently, most dentists don't even want to touch it because they don't know. They learned in dental school that that's the standard. That's what we're going to do. And there's nothing wrong with it. But as, time went on and they were able to study mercury a bit more and study the effects of the fillings, they've realized that, no, if it's safe or not. So mercury fillings or amalgam fillings, they're comprised of 50% mercury, 32% silver, and small amounts of other elements like copper, tin, and zinc. So when they're mixed together, they are placed in the tooth and they form like a hard surface. It's very easy to form, it's quick, and it is very similar to the structure of the tooth. So there's a good purpose for it. They worked well, and they stay well in the tooth. But as you get older, they start to break open. They can be opened and they can start to leach down. And that's when you have some major issues. Another issue is that mercury off gases every time it's disturbed. So there are studies out there saying that every time you chew gum or have hot tea, it can release some of the vapors into your mouth. So it's not like the materials in itself that are an issue. It's the vapors that are causing the mercury poison that people are experiencing. So, it releases small amounts of toxic gases, which is really concerning. So some of the issues are an increased chance of mercury poisoning. Mercury fillings can harm the brain. They can certainly do damage to fetuses. It's like a big thing to stay away from any kind of dental work while a mom is pregnant, or if she's going to be pregnant, they always refuse to do any kind of issues or any kind of work with mercury fillings. There's no studies that have been done to prove that they are completely safe. Some people are allergic to them. And then another issue is they are released into the environment. They're released into the actual office. So dentists can be poisoned with them. And if you want to have them replaced, there's some really strong, safe protocols you can go through. I would not say to just get them removed by your average dentist. They want to put in a rubber dam. They want to have the whole room ventilated. They need to have protective gear. It's a whole thing. They give you oxygen. It's kind of crazy, but if you have a filling that's not intact and that you think could be making you sick, definitely find the certain type of dentist that I think it's called the SMART, SMART protocol, where they are taking it really seriously. They even give you certain supplements before and after to make sure your body can handle the removal. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Yeah, good job staying focused while you are taking care of that little one there. Pretty awesome. And we can go deeper on this. It depends if you want us to as the listener. If you do, you can call in and let us know. I guess Becky has quite a bit of experience going through the process of actually having these mercury fillings replaced. And so there's a lot to it. I know it's been a long time process and still ongoing. So there's a lot to it. If you have any specific questions on that, you can call in 1-877-511-5483. But anything about oral care, dentistry today, talking specifically about benefits of a biological dentist, any experience you have to share or any questions you have to ask, 1-877-511-5483. And I want to bring this in. So I asked ChatGPT about this. I've been asking ChatGPT a few questions and trying to test the AI here and find out what's going on. But on the mercury fillings, ChatGPT seems to be a little bit ambiguous, maybe trying to hide some things, give some cover to the government on this one and to the world. The world powers on this one, I don't know, but this is what ChatGPT spit out for me. Said that as of my last update in January 2022, it's essential to note that while there have been studies examining potential risks associated with dental amalgam fillings, the scientific consensus, as established by major health organizations such as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, the American Dental Association, the ADA, and the World Health Organization, the WHO, is that dental amalgam fillings are safe for the majority of individuals when used as directed. So that's what ChatGPT has to say. Now, certainly there would be some, it wouldn't be hard to find a motive in why those organizations would want to try to make the case that nothing to see here, keep moving, because they've been so heavily used and promoted. You would think if there are real dangers here and harms that could be a potential big time lawsuit in the making. But Becky, any response to ChatGPT or what it's saying here about the FDA and the ADA and the WHO?
Yeah, I would say anytime those guys are linked together, there's going to be some issues there, because that it's like the world powers this is what we say, and so this is what goes, and it's actually just not true. So I think it's all nonsense. I think, even the FDA, they even warn that exposure to mercury vapor can be dangerous and for certain people at risk, which is women who are pregnant, who plan to become pregnant, who are nursing their babies, children. So that's a very large portion of the population. People with certain conditions such as MS, Alzheimer's, or Parkinson's, impaired kidney function, or heightened sensitivity to mercury. I'm not sure how they would determine who has that heightened sensitivity to mercury, but I'm pretty sure it's everybody, considering that mercury is a toxic heavy metal and that it accumulates within the brain, and it's known to cause things like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. So I'm pretty sure that that's everybody that would have a heightened sensitivity to it. So it doesn't really add up to me. I think that if you can, stay away from it. Now, if you start going down the rabbit hole of why to get them removed, and you realize that it's very expensive and pretty invasive, it can be unsettling. And I've been there, and there were times, especially as I was pregnant and nursing, that I knew, especially one of my fillings was leaking and it was not safe. And but the dentist said, I won't go anywhere near that until you're totally done with kids. I just feel like it's not safe. So even he knew. He was a conventional dentist, so it's not like he was some kind of holistic natural guy. He knew that this is something we don't do. And so just understand that in the end, you got to give it to God, and that there's only so much you can do. And that goes for all the health and wellness stuff. I feel like one of the major things that we need to keep in mind is that you can get really caught up in the fact that it's fear. There's a lot of fear involved, and you have to just be able to know that you can only do what you can only do. And so, even as I'm getting a lot of dental work done lately, it's so expensive. And so you might not be able to do certain things. And sometimes it's best to just leave things as they are. And that's okay, because God's bigger and he can work it out for you. I just wanted to share that because that's something that was hard for me. I know.
Yeah, and that's interesting because that is when it comes to basically making societal decisions that local governments or state, federal governments have to make. I would think it's probably pretty much a local decision, maybe a county decision when it comes to fluoride in the water. But when we get to fluoride, we'll get to it in a little bit. It seems to be that there is some admitting that there is some danger of some harm there, especially at certain levels. It seems to be that the levels are a big factor, how much fluoride. And yet at the same time, they say, but the good outweighs it. Because there's so much tooth decay out there, and this is such a problem in society because people aren't taking care of themselves in this way. So fluoride does seem pretty solid in the scientific evidence that it does help, effectively prevent tooth decay. So disregarding the other harms, the benefits outweigh those harms. Therefore, we're going to put fluoride in the water. We're going to try to, figure out what the safe levels would be. Years ago, I think they didn't really have much of an idea on that. So I think what you've seen is they've taken those levels down in many places. But yeah, it seems to be that that's how they're factoring things in on a societal level. But I think they should be fully disclosing all the information so people can know what's going on, so they can have filtered water if they want, where they can filter that fluoride out of it if they want to opt out of that. I guess it is fairly public knowledge, but maybe it should be even more widely known than it is. Maybe they ought to be proactive in letting people know about that. Anyway, things to consider. But when it comes to the cost of going to a biological or a holistic or a functional dentist, Becky, the question did come in, what about insurance? Do these types of dentists take insurance?
I think it just depends. I guess I'll get you on the other side of the break.
Okay. All right. We'll leave that one as a cliffhanger till the next time we get through this break here. We're going to be right back and get to much more. We're going to talk about your experiences having gone to a biological or holistic dentist or not, and what that was like. We've got some comments on that, but we're also going to really drill down in the data in the next segment. We've got some important information about how to remineralize the teeth, the oral environment, to help the teeth to recover from any cavities that are forming. How can we reverse the process, and how can we help out that oral microbiome by what can we avoid, what can we do? Lots of good stuff coming up. We'll be right back. To the Simple Truth. Jim and Becky Havens here. Remember, if you ever want to connect with Becky or get those free resources that she has and much more, you can go over to her website, safehavensmama.com. That's safehavensmama.com. We're talking about benefits of a biological dentist today and much more. If you have any comment or question, 1-877-511-5483. That's 1-877-511-5483. All right, let's answer the cliffhanger. So, Becky, the insurance question, do these biological or holistic dentists, do they normally take insurance?
Yeah, I think it just depends on the dentist, because some do and some don't. So we don't have dental anyways, so we were paying out of pocket. Some will let you set up payment plans, some won't. So you have to really weigh it all. You have to talk with them first. Overall, it's more expensive because at least for my first appointment, it's like an hour appointment. They're going through health history and they're asking things that you would not normally be asked at a dentist, and trying to figure out where the issues are. And so I think that's a good sign. I think that's a true sign of a biological dentist. They're trying to get to the root. There's even different tests. You can test your saliva. You can test your pH. You can see if you have different bacteria that cause decay in your mouth. So depends on what they're offering. Mine broke it all down for me. The first time I went, it was kind of devastating to see all the work I needed, but it's been at least a year and I've gotten almost all of it done. And so you can spread it out, and you can see what's most important for you to do. Mine had been going on for a long time, and since I pretty much stopped having children and realized that, okay, now I need to start getting some of this done before it gets worse. And yeah, it's not easy, and it's not cheap, but most things that are good for you for some reason are not cheap. Look at food. A lot of the natural organic things are way more expensive. So Yeah. And I would just say, look, I can't imagine what it's like going through all of that torment that you've been through with everything with your teeth. And, not even, it's not even that, it really is something that doesn't seem like it's your behaviors that have caused it. It does seem that, I don't know if you were mentioning this before the show or if you mentioned it on the show, but, really it's a lot of the minerals being stripped out of your teeth through pregnancy. And so that's, again, look at the sacrificial love of a mom during pregnancy. Right? It's not just teeth, but it's your whole body is being directed towards the love of another human being that is living, growing inside you. And it's just natural, to have a response of love to that child. Again, we live in a horrible time when there is, very difficult situations that people find themselves in, where the marital act has been taken out of marriage, and a lot of pressures, a lot of fears. And then a society saying, look, why don't you try to solve the problem just by killing the child and terminating the pregnancy? I mean, again, this is unthinkable type stuff, and yet it's commonplace, it's normal. But to see the natural love of a mother for the child, that's what humanity is all about, to love one another. Jesus makes that clear when he comes and tells it to us right to our faces and says, this is what it is. Get your act together, right? And so
In a very small way also, spouses, I would say, if your spouse comes to you and says, look, I'm really struggling with all this stuff in my teeth, and maybe you're one like me where I've never had a cavity in my entire life. Again, I don't think that's because of my great dental hygiene necessarily, as it is maybe genetics or other factors. Who knows? I don't know. But again, I have a lot of compassion on my wife for what she's been through. And so when she comes and says, look, I'm struggling with all this, I think I need to get these fillings removed and replaced, and it's going to cost this much and this much and this much. And she kind of lets me know in stages, makes it a little bit easier to take, but no, to understand like, okay, it's going to be a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice we need to make for the good of the person that is before us, right? And that's for the good of the whole family as well. And so it shouldn't be that hard of a decision, but it is oftentimes, there's going to be sacrifices, and there's always going to be stuff like that in our lives. If it's not the dental stuff, it's going to be a home repair, it's going to be something else. There's always going to be stuff. And so I think that is where I want to bring the faith into all of this today, and just say that to be expecting the cross each day, where Jesus says, pick up your cross each day and come follow me. There's going to be sacrifices to make that maybe you weren't expecting, and to be ready for that, to be ready to offer that in love, to really allow him to help you to build that virtue so that it even becomes easy as you get news that is difficult, that it can even be more natural to immediately turn to our Lord upon the cross, to turn to love, and to make that sacrifice. So we can do it by God's grace. So let's keep going. We did ask you guys in the email today. We asked you, have you ever been to a biological or holistic dentist? And if so, was it more helpful than a conventional dentist? Now, I don't know that anybody wrote in that they had. Some said, haven't tried yet, didn't even know it existed. Anonymous in Buffalo, New York said, no, I've only heard of this type of dentistry in the last couple of years. I've gone to the same dentist for the last 30 years. Another said, I wish I could, but it's no, strictly out of cost. They do not take insurance and I cannot afford them. I've looked in my area and they are so expensive. The dentist I have now knows that I don't want fluoride and I'm against most routine procedures. I like her a lot. Sometimes we have disagreements, so we just agree now that we will disagree. Another said, no, but I am definitely interested in finding one locally. Another said, no, I have not, but while contemplating an implant and researching pros and cons, I found some folks in Hawaii. I get their information, which is very interesting, but I don't know of any local sources for similar dentistry. But I'm pretty happy with my dentist now, they say. So, Becky, any tips, any help on how to find a local holistic or biological or functional dentist?
Yeah, so this is the tricky part, and it was hard for me because I thought at one point I had found a natural dentist, and the first thing that they told me was, okay, immediate root canal is what you need. And I thought, well, don't I have any other options? I think that's kind of why I came to you, that I thought that because most real holistic dentists will not, their first line of defense is not going to be a root canal. So that was my first sign that something was off, that this is what they're pushing. And like, that's the last thing that a holistic dentist is going to try to push. They want to save the tooth or restore it the best that they can. And so they represented themselves online as holistic, and they did all these practices. And then when I got there, they did not do that. So I spent a ton of money and did not even get what I was looking for. So you have to be really careful when you're looking for the right dentist. I recently put an article out over on the blog, and it has a ton of information on there where you can even search different directories. I think I have 3 listed there. There's a directory of biological dentists. There's you can search for integrative dentists, and then the Dental Health Association member lookup. So those are 3 different resources that you can use. It'll point to your area to see if that dentist is going to be certified and the things that you're looking for. Again, in that article, I have different things you want to look for. So, for example, a few things that you should look for in a real biological dentist would be that they're fluoride and mercury free, They have the mercury safe removal, which is the SMART and Protect protocols in place. If you're going to get a restoration or a crown, you want to look for porcelain. You want to make sure it's metal free. They use ozone treatment. They have regenerative dentistry. They have cone beam technology, which is a whole scan of your jaw. It's a low radiation dose scan of your jaw and your face and any cavitations. And by cavitations, I mean, we've all probably gotten our wisdom teeth pulled out. And what can happen is you get these pockets and they can get filled with bacteria and they can be infected for years. And a lot of times, well, now they're connecting different cancers with them, like thyroid issues or breast cancers, and they can kind of see what's there. They can see if root canals are infected. They can see if these cavitations are infected. So it's a good start. It's low dose radiation, so I felt comfortable doing that. But since I had so many issues with my teeth, I went ahead and did that, and it can see, the structure of your airway, if you can breathe properly, and your jaw and TMJ. All that good stuff. You want to look for BPA free. Sometimes they'll be recommending homeopathic remedies. And then there's different certifications like IAOMT certified and IABMD. So it's a lot of different letters and they all mean something. But again, if you go over to the blog, safehavensmama.com, I have all of this there. I also have some good resources that are very helpful when you're looking to go down this route. So there's a lot of resources that will help you do things at home. There's something called the dental diet or cure tooth decay. And those were really helpful for me. Some of the books that I would get and kind of go through and read and see, all right, what can I do here that's going to be affordable, that's going to be easy, and that work. And I found a lot of different things that actually really do work. And I think that because I've done so many different things, it's made the effects less and it's helped quite a bit. Whereas if I didn't do any of that, I think I'd be in a whole lot more trouble. So there's a lot you can do. And take a look over at the blog and it's all there. I wrote it all out a few weeks back because I feel like it's so important. It's something that I would have really liked to have when I was looking into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a lot more info. You can get it all over there at safehavensmama.com. Safehavensmama.com. And so we talked maybe several weeks ago, we had an episode on the gut microbiome. So there also is an oral microbiome, in your mouth. And so, there's good bacteria in there and you don't want to kill it. And this is actually something that is quite fascinating information that many people aren't aware of, but that's what mouthwash does. It kills that good bacteria. It's trying to kill it. That's what it's all about. So even if you're using like a natural mouthwash, which would be better than using these just the regular mouthwashes that you're going to find at the regular store, the more natural ones, even those ones, they're going to have essential oils in it oftentimes, usually. And again, that's going to be messing up that oral microbiome. So really, the advice seems to be to really not use mouthwash at all, and that there's other things that you can do to have great oral health without using mouthwash. It's really not necessary. And also, you want to promote this remineralization in your mouth. And so basically, you're always in a state of either remineralization or demineralization, and you want to keep it going as much as you can in the side of the good, right? And so if you get the sugar that comes in, then that's going to be then you got the acid going, and then you got the cavities beginning to take place. So the key is to make your mouth less acidic and to promote this remineralization. So here's a few things you can do. You can reduce consumption of acidic foods and beverages like citrus fruits, soda, and coffee. You can increase your water intake to help flush away the acids and promote saliva production. You can chew sugar-free gum, and really the recommendation here would be xylitol after meals to stimulate saliva flow, which helps neutralize acids and remineralize teeth. You can also consume foods that are rich in calcium and phosphorus, such as dairy products, leafy greens, and nuts to support remineralization. And of course, avoid the sugary snacks and drinks as they can contribute to acid production and tooth decay. So those are some practical tips. Becky, anything else you want to say or recommend when it comes to promoting the remineralization in the oral microbiome?
Yeah, so something as easy as and this is a practice that just can become a habit. After you eat, you just Go ahead and you can go ahead and take it. I'll get you on the other side.
Okay. All right. We'll pause. You don't like to talk during the music. You got those new headphones now. You can talk during the music. I think you can take it from here, but that's all right. I'll think of something to say. And what I want to say before we get back to Becky on the other side of the break is that, look, very basic, right? We know we've all had it drilled into us, the brushing of the teeth, the flossing every day. So it's brushing at least a couple times a day, flossing at least once a day. The recommendation is really more than once a day, like twice a day if you can, if needed, right? If you got stuff in your teeth, go ahead and have some floss nearby and floss it out. That's going to be good for you. Drink a lot of water. That's an obvious one. But even the way that we brush, oftentimes we get it wrong. The recommendation is the softest brush as possible, and then very lightly with small circles. That's the current recommendation. We'll be right back.
People tell us, abortion is just a small percentage of our business model, but yet when the abortion component goes away, the clinic disappears overnight.
You look at their annual reports, abortions go up, all those other services go down. This is like McDonald's saying that, making French fries is just 3% of their business. No, it drives everything.
The Catholic Current, 5 p.m. Eastern, from the Station of the Cross and on the iCatholic Radio mobile app.
Welcome back to The Simple Truth. Jim and Becky Havens here. Benefits of a biological dentist and much more today. Any comment or question that you have, last chance to get that call in, 1-877-511-5483. That's 1-877-511-5483. All right, Becky, anything further you want to mention regarding promoting remineralization?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of simple things you can do. Even something like just rinsing with warm water after you eat. It's not recommended to brush as it can break down the enamel more, but just rinsing with water. It can get the acid out and kind of clear out any food or sugar that's going to start working on your teeth. And that's just something I do after I eat most anything. But especially if after you're eating like starchy things or sugary things. There's different oils that I know you said essential oils aren't the best, but if you're trying to remineralize your teeth, black walnut oil was something that really did help at a certain point with one tooth that I had. I know that raw milk is something that a lot of people do, especially if you're low on your vitamins and minerals, are you going to have issues? So what Jim touched on earlier is a lot of women, when they're having children and they have, pregnancy issues, but basically what will happen is the baby will naturally just kind of take the nutrients that the child needs. The body just works that way. And so it will even pull from the mom's teeth or bones if necessary. And so that's why it's so important for the mom to be built up in her vitamins and minerals before pregnancy so that she doesn't suffer in the ways that she possibly can. And so, yeah, if you have like back-to-back children over a period of years and then you're nursing and you're not taking care of yourself, eventually it's going to, show some damage. And that's kind of what happened to me with my teeth over an extended period of 10 years and, very minimal dental work in between. So it was, within 10 years that it was just like this downfall of issues one after the other. And it was like, I can't stop it because I don't know how to replenish in the best ways. But there are things out there, a lot of different things like different supplements like vitamin D and vitamin K2. Cod liver oil was really helpful for me. And if you go into there's a website called the Weston A. Price Foundation, and they have a lot of interesting information on why we have these issues. So that's kind of the real thing we want to get to is why do we have such problems with our teeth? Why is there such tooth decay? Why is it happening at really young ages? What's going on here? And so they go into a lot of different reasons why, and it's kind of founded on this dentist who, went into different areas of the world and saw, what different tribes, what it looked like when they introduced sugar and conventional foods into that tribe, what started happening to their teeth. And then when they started introducing foods like raw milk and organ meats, they started seeing the remineralization happening again to these people's teeth, and basically saw that it was pretty much diet related. And so what do we eat in the standard American diet is pretty much all that they say not to eat, which is fortified breads and cookies and pastries and very little fruits and vegetables, very little meat, basically no organ meats at all. I think that's coming back a little bit, but it used to be more of a practice a long time ago that people would do that. And it's something that actually I think the FDA warns against. Don't do it. It's so bad for you. Yet many people did that forever. Don't eat butter, don't eat lard or beef or any of that because it's going to give you heart disease. But in reality, people had been eating that for years and years. And once they stopped, then the heart disease rate went way sky high. And so something doesn't make sense. So anyways, that's a really interesting website to kind of learn a little bit more about why we might be having these issues. So there's a lot you can do, check out the website and see what they recommend too.
Very good. All right. Yeah. Let me get some data in here on the fluoride just because I said I would. I want to make sure to get it in here. So fluoride seems, yes, effective to prevent tooth decay. That's often put in water, in toothpaste, in topical applications. But there's this ongoing debate and research regarding the potential adverse effects of fluoride, particularly when consumed in excess. Some concerns include dental fluorosis, a cosmetic condition affecting tooth enamel, skeletal fluorosis, a bone disorder, and potential neurotoxic effects, especially in high doses. So the Cochrane review, first published in 2015 and updated in 2019, examined the effects of fluoride toothpaste, mouth rinse, or professionally applied fluoride gel or varnish in preventing dental cavities in children and adolescents. The review included 96 randomized controlled trials over 120,000 participants. It found strong evidence that fluoride interventions such as toothpaste and varnish significantly reduce the incidence of tooth decay in primary and permanent teeth. Additionally, the review concluded that there was no evidence of an increase in the risk of mild fluorosis, a cosmetic condition affecting the tooth enamel, with the use of fluoride toothpaste. At the same time, there have been studies examining the potential effects of fluoride exposure on the brain. One study that has garnered attention in this area is a cross-sectional study. It's in the journal Environmental Health in 2017. It examined the association between fluoride exposure through drinking water and cognitive outcomes in results. And they found a modest association between higher fluoride exposure and lower scores on cognitive tests, particularly in individuals with low iodine intake. Another systematic review published in 2012 in the journal Environmental Health Perspectives, they also examined something similar, and the review found that higher fluoride exposure was associated with lower IQ scores in children. And then finally, another one I have here is the 2019 systematic review and meta-analysis published in the journal JAMA Pediatrics. And so the researchers, after all the analysis, they found that a statistically significant association between higher fluoride exposure during pregnancy and lower IQ scores in children. And so, once again, while concerns exist about these potential adverse effects of fluoride, there's also overwhelming consensus, it says here, among major health organizations, including the CDC, ADA, and WHO, that the benefits of fluoride for dental health far outweigh any potential risks when used appropriately. Becky, your thoughts?
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to say that, to have those kind of studies about lower IQ and neurological issues, and to say, but it outweighs, the issue with your teeth. I mean, we're more concerned that it's going to keep your teeth strong and healthy, as if they care about that, because they just want you to go to the dentist anyways and get work done on it anyways. So it makes absolutely no sense. I don't believe that at all, that they care for people one bit, and that's why they're adding it into the water. Why would you ever need it added into the water, added into your toothpaste, so you're constantly being exposed, especially children then going to the dentist and having these high amounts of fluoride treatments done twice a year? It doesn't make sense. If there is data that it's lowering children's IQ levels, there is no way that people should be, especially children, should be ingesting that in any way. That's my opinion.
I mean, just imagine how smart I could have been if I didn't have all those fluoride treatments at the doctor or the dentist. I remember going in there, and that would be kind of, at least a somewhat enjoyable part of the dentist as a kid. At the end, they come out with that spongy tray and they're like, what flavor would you like? Cherry. And they fill the thing up and you get to just bite down on it for a while. And you're like, actually, this is not good. This is not good at all.
No.
But cherry, I like cherry. So therefore I can kind of pretend it's good. And then you get a sucker at the end or something at the dentist. That didn't make much sense either. Anyway, any final comment from you today, Becky?
No, just keep on going. You'll find the answers with good research.
All right. And remember, Becky's got all that information for you. A new article over there similar to this and going a bit deeper. SafeHavensMama.com. SafeHavensMama.com. God bless you.